Hey, Grand Ascension family, tribe, how's everybody doing? It's been a minute since I've done a pre-recorded video. I did a live stream, what we want to call the pagan holiday Mother's Day. I did a live stream on Sunday and thought I would do a pre-recorded video because I wanted to talk briefly about a book that I have. I have several books. The book that I want to call out attention to actually is called The Book of Wisdom. Now, Red Wolf, Chief Red Wolf, actually talked about another book called The Book of Wisdom. Bear with me one second. I can't put my fingers on it. Like literally, I was just looking at it a second ago. Hold on. It's a small book, and I can't find it, you guys. I apologize. It's another book that's called The Book of Wisdom. It's a small book, and I don't know what I did with it. Daggone it. All right, never mind. That's not the book that I'm referring to. I'm referring to, I wanted to come out here and talk to you guys about this book, The Book of Wisdom, and this is by Harry B. Joseph, The Revival of Wisdom. That's who it's written by, right? And this goes in conjunction with another book that I got a little while ago from Juan Castro, and this is called The Hearth Book, which I know if you've been on TikTok, I'm sure you've seen this book before, right? So you see I've got it flagged and marked in here and things like that. He's got a lot of drawings in here, a lot of penmanship put in here, but I wanted to read a couple of excerpts from this book. Shout out to Christina. She actually sent this to me in a PDF form, and I was like, you know what? I need to print this out. So let me go order the book. So I went and I ordered the book. This will go conjunction or hand in hand with Flat Atlantis too as well. Which, do I have right here for me? I do. I apologize. I have books everywhere, you guys. I apologize. 1 second. We'll go with this book. Very good information. So this discusses syncretism, and I want to read this with you guys. Okay, it says, the Book of Wisdom serves as a reservoir of esoteric occultism and symbolism, and most notably, syncretism. Syncretism is the method employed by me. The revival of wisdom acts as the unifying force that merges all fields of knowledge. It weaves together every subject of matter into a singular holy science. And I have the book by Sri Yukteswar. It's called The Holy Science, right? That's another good read that I would recommend you guys to get. Hang on 1 second. Do I have it in arm's reach where I can get to it? Hang on 1 second. I'm looking for it. No, I don't. I don't see it. I got it up here, but I can't put my fingers on it right now. Holy Science is another good book you want to get. It says it weaves together every subject matter into a singular holy science, and recognizing that all things originate from the one, the book asserts that everything is fundamentally interconnected. Our worldly existence unfolds within a fractal realm where every entity encapsulates the entirety of existence from both microscopic and macroscopic perspectives. In the contemporary era, the average individual predominantly operates with a left hemisphere dominant mindset. The left hemisphere of the brain dissects and disentangles the unified perception of reality from the right hemisphere into the discrete fragments, enabling a logical manipulation and understanding of phenomena. To fully grasp the insights presented in this book, one must emancipate their mind from the indoctrination imposed by educational systems, and secondly, strive to perceive reality as an individual and holistic creation. Okay, so it says Genesis 1:3, let there be light. We live inside of a light wave universe where all things are created out of light. Low vibrating light turns into matter, and then high vibrating matter turns back into light. Universal One by Walter Russell. God is a thinking mind. The substance or body of God is light. The one universal substance, a thinking substance, comprehensive and describable, and possessed of principles which are familiar to man through man's observation of the one universal substance in created things. The substance of all created things is light. The one substance of the thinking mind is all that exists. Mind is expressed in light. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and I want to read this part. Human, Human, which best defines a hue, Hun. What best describes a hue? The attribute of colors that permits them to be classed as red, yellow, green, blue, and intermediate between in contiguous pairs of these colors, red with an orange hue. A hue man. So you get it. So for those of you who are just now seeing this video and you're going to be like, what is she talking about? We operate, as it just says, we are the most basic fundamental thing that, I talk to my grandkids about is what we are. We are sentient beings. These avatar meat suits or bodies are an illusion. And in order for us to understand what this is, we must separate ourselves and understand that we are consciousness, we are energy, we are light beings, okay? And so when you say a hue man or a hue of a man, we're looking at it in terms of your energy body, your vessel that's inside this meat suit, right? So it says, as a human, we are an attribute of a color that permits them to be classed that specific color. Each individual is the mind, not the physical body. Without the mind, the physical body or world would cease to exist. The mind is spirit. The mind is the intellect that manipulates the physical body and the world around us. The mind is like a frequency tuner, tuning itself into different frequencies. The mind exists within the mental plane, which is shared between all the minds of the universe. Thoughts are not created by the individual. They are received based on the frequency our mind is set to, right? You turn on the TV, I'm 55. So back in the 70s, we had these black and white TVs where you could go in front and you change it with the freaking dial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bunny ears on top is the receiver. So basically, depending on what you tune into or how your frequency is vibrating, what level you're vibrating at, is based on your thought perception, your environment, and it plays a part in who you are. And see, these beings that know this stuff, they know that we are vibing on a lower frequency because they've done everything they possibly can to strip us down, to break us down to where, we are way less than what we used to be. Our ancient ancestors were more in tune with the planet. They were more in tune. Their diets were different. They had real food. Their clothes were different. They were linen. They were cotton. I'm wearing this polyester stuff. I'm just being honest with you. We've changed. Our world has changed based on the fact that we have these oligarchs over us, and they limit our perception based on the frequencies that they're pumping into our homes with Wi-Fi, cell phone towers, the dirty electricity running into the house. All of that plays a part on it. Not to mention that they recycle the water that we use. Instead of giving us fresh water, they treat the water with all kinds of chemicals and medicines, right? We're not extracting that out of the water. We're bathing in that, and we're cooking with that, and we're drinking with that. So they've used all of these things against us because they understand what this is. And they've had help. They're not that intelligent. They've had help from otherworldly beings or other entities. Let me put it that way. From beyond the ice walls. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but it's true. It's true. You just got to do your research. So my point is that it says The mind is the spirit. The mind is the intellect that manipulates the physical body and the world around us. The mind is like a frequency tuner, tuning itself into different frequencies. The mind exists within the mental plane, which is shared between all things of the universe, shared between all minds of the universe. Thoughts are not created by the individual. They are received based on what frequency our mindset is too. If we set our mind to a specific topic, like generating wealth, for example, we tune into that frequency in the mental plane and we'll receive thoughts on how to generate wealth. Our mind is generally operating off one specific frequency based upon our daily thinking patterns. Every frequency is a color. Therefore, our mind is manifesting colors within the astral plane. Based upon what frequency our mind is generally operating off. If we are carrying hate in our mind, right? If we're carrying hate in our mind, we will be generating reddish hues. This is why the word human means as an attribute of a color. We should aim to become violet, the highest vibrational color within the light spectrum. We are light beings manifested into this physical form. So when the body gives out and the energy leaves this vessel, because I've said this before and you guys know this, I was a floor warden when I used to work for a petroleum company years ago. And had an AED, and I had to know how to use it in case someone stopped breathing. I was responsible for giving them CPR and keeping them alive. Well, you have to charge the machine when you turn it on. You turn it on, you charge it. I think it's 10 seconds, and you shock them. That's to get the heart to start pumping back that rhythm. If you don't get a pulse, right? That's the first thing we do. We check for a pulse, and then we start doing compressions on the chest, right? Because that means the heart has stopped, which means electricity has stopped moving in the body and powering the vessel, right? So that's my point to all of this. We are more than these bodies. We are, number one, sentient beings. So when I post things on social media and I talk about it on these different platforms, when I say, I am not Black, I'm not African American, I'm not colored, I'm not Negro, I'm not mulatto, I am an autochthonous Aboriginal Indian or indigenous to the Americas. That's what I mean when I say that, and the reason why I say that is because we identify as these bodies. We're taught that, right? As soon as we're born, we're grafted into this world. We have this illusion set up, and we're born into this matrix, and we're taught what color we are, what sex we are, what religion we should be, and based on your family's perception, right? And so you constantly have to put on all these filters of what you are. And the very basic thing that we're not taught is just to be, just to be and become connected with the earth. Right? They've disconnected us from the very beginning. Like when we came out of our mother's womb, what was the first thing they do? Cut the cord. They disconnected us. So there's a lot of things that these people have done for a purpose to keep us limited. And I dare say a lot of it is at the coaxing of these gujars, but I'm also going to say it's a coaxing of these other worldly beings, these other entities that walk around that look like they look like us and they may sound like us, but they're not us, right? So, that's my point. So it says, our mind is generally operating off one specific frequency based on our daily thinking patterns. Every frequency is a color. Therefore, our mind is manifesting colors within the astral plane based upon what frequency our mind is generally operating off. If we're carrying hate in our minds, we will be generating reddish hues. This is why the word human means an attribute of the color, hue of a man. So what hue are you? Because like the book says, we should aim to become violet, the highest vibrational color within the light spectrum. We are light beings manifested into our physical form. You do not see into reality, right? The light enters these receptors here. You have a visual field. I believe we see so many nanometers out, and I want to say it's like 400 and something nanometers. Let me see. I don't know. I think it's in this book. Hold on. Is it in this book? Hold on. 1 second. I want to tell you exactly what we see. I had it marked at one time. And I just saw it. I just passed it too. God damn it. I saw the chart. We live in a holographic universe. It says, I'm trying to tell you what our limited light perception is. In other words, animals can see farther than we can. We've been dumbed down so much, you guys. God damn it. Why can't I find what I'm looking for when I'm looking for it? David Icke. I got a couple of his books. Hold on. I know he's got it in here. Okay. So he says, we are awareness, a state of being aware. Everything else is detail and illusion. We are not our body. We are that which is aware and experiencing through the body. Awareness in the purest sense has no form, but it can experience through form. In its most expanded state, it is not even energy. It is. It just is. Our awareness is an expression of the totality of awareness. Hence, some religions and native peoples speak of being aspects of children of God or the Great Spirit. Other religions condemn as blasphemy any claim that we are God, which we really are. What I call infinite awareness in its endless and various forms. This serves the manufactured and enslaving belief that we are insignificant, detached, isolated, and powerless. None of this is true at the deepest levels, but it serves the agenda of the human control by peddling an acceptance of impotence, servitude, and know your place. And he's absolutely right. And see, that's the biggest problem I have with this the way we're taught. Hang on for a second. I'm going to tell you exactly how many nanometers we see. And it's really killing me because I can't. In other words, our perception has been dumbed down so much. Animals see further than we do. Cats specifically. Cats and dogs like you. Like I have Mimi, I'll walk into a room and she'll be wagging her tail and look up at the ceiling. I'm like, okay, somebody in here? Who you see? Because I can't see them. Because animals have a better awareness. They're able to see further than we are. And so that's my point, is that we are infinite beings. We have potential to live on infinitely. You know, you cannot destroy energy. Energy can merely transform or transition, right? And so and I am still looking for this. And watch when I get off this video, I ain't gonna be able to say it. I want to say it's like 400 something nanometers that we can see, which is not very far at all. I mean, like, we've been dumbed down in these temples. Seriously. And the whole point of us learning who we are and what we are and being connected to Source is that we need to transform or transcend. Do you guys know that there are some Buddhist monks who never eat? I wouldn't even say they practice breatharianism. They exist because they can exist. And they actually shrivel up into a ball, and they turn into a ball of light, and they disappear. Their bodies disappear. I know how that sounds. It sounds woo-woo because we've been taught that that's not reality and that's not capable and it's not possible, but very much well it is. And so I believe that these entities have been using all of this against us to keep us at a lower state of vibration. I truly believe if we, especially here in the Americas, the indigenous, the autochthonous dark skins, would rise up and stand together and move as one, as a collective, we could change the shift in this world. Is it too late for us? I don't know. Am I here to stop or change anything? I'm just here to bring awareness to it. You know, it says, for this, Lucifer is said to be the light bearer. And we've always had a negative connotation with Lucifer. You got to go look up Lucifer and what specifically, who this individual was, right? Because we're taught one narrative based on religion, but you got to dig a little bit deeper than that. And that's another video. But Lucifer equals Luci. Luci in Latin means light. The signal of Lucifer is showing you the visual field of your eyes. And the signal of Lucifer is right here. So look at this. So you see how your lights take in here? These are your eyeballs. And then this is the same thing. Light bringer, light bearer, exposing light, right? So it says, we do not see into the external world. Light waves enter the retinas And then the images we see is produced into the visual cortex located at the back of the brains, okay, which is back here. The visual cortex is a primary cortical region of the brain that receives, integrates, and possesses visual information relayed from the retinas. Hence, the light enters the retinas, okay, visual field. It says the ancient Kemetics or Egyptians or the dark skins, us, had a deep understanding of the function of the reality and the brain. This is why it is reflected in the scriptures as shown above. Element equals L and mint equals mind. Okay, elements only exist within the mind. Humans are God made flesh. We are the God in the separate bodies. God is mind and all things exist, universal mind. God is thinking all things into existence, right? We exist because of the creator of all. We are part of that awareness. So, L is God. Element is God mind. Get it? Let me say it one more time. Element. L, mint. Mint is mind. L, mind. Element. God mind. Okay, that's what that means. The electromagnetic light spectrum, but it doesn't tell us. Here it is. Yeah, it does. It tells me here. The entire rainbow of the radiation observable to the human eye only makes up a tiny portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, about 0.0035%, 35%. This range of wavelengths is known as the visual light spectrum. And I forget how many nanometers that is. I want to say 400. I don't know why I got this stuck in my brain. But this is the electromagnetic light spectrum. We only see like 0.0035% of that. Look. You see that? I know it's probably inverted on my camera, but so, and I'm doing a series right now that I've been reading, and I've been doing it on Facebook. But I think the last couple of chapters I'm going to try to pre-record it, and so I can upload it to YouTube as well. But I've been talking about the science of sacred secretion, this book, and the other book, which is the sacred secretion here. Wait. The Occult Anatomy of a Man, Manly P. Hall, okay? And then the God Man, the Word Made Flesh. This one. This has all been what I've been reading from to explain to you what each one of us as a human, a hue of man, as we take on these, as we are sentient beings who have a light body and we're in this physical body, we are not taught certain aspects of how to breathe when we're born. We're not taught to connect with nature. We're disconnected from those things. We're not taught those things. We're taking into these indoctrination camps and put into these places 8 to 10 hours a day away from our families, right? They've done everything possible to dumb us down in every possible way in our environment. And that's my point. We're not taught what we have inside of us, which is an alchemical process that happens with each one of us as physical beings, as we exist in this paradigm, right? In this matrix, as I like to say. The Christ oil. When the moon enters your sun sign, your birth zodiac sign, for mine this is April, a psychophysical oil is released from the brain down the spine to the sacrum bone. Okay, travels down the spine all the way down to the sacrum, which is right above your sexual organs, right? That sacred fluid must be cared for and not destroyed by acidic foods and liquids. Our sexual energy fluids must be retained if we wish to raise the psychophysical oil back to our brain or heaven. By opening our chakras and preserving our sexual energy and maintaining the Christ oil, we can use the power behind the sexual energy, which is called the Kundalini, right? And this is what those books talk about, okay? To raise it from the base of the spine back to the crown chakra, right? So it says colostrum equals Santa Claus, and it gives specific breakdowns of this. And it says, by awakening the seven chakras and raising the kundalini to the crown chakra, new energy pathways open up within your brain. You get this, this large computing power that we all have access to. All right, but it's dormant. It's like a desolation of the holies of holies. That's what we are right now. We're walking around at the lowest form that we possibly can be because we haven't learned how to raise our vibration physically. I ain't even talking about spiritually. I'm just saying physically we are just cut off, right? So it says, your head becomes hollow on the inside. Let's go back. By awakening the seven chakras and raising the kundalini to the crown chakra, new energy pathways open up within the brain, which feels like your head becomes hollow on the inside. The brain undergoes a remodeling process, expanding its capacity from a roughly 10% of usage to the complete 100%. Dormant areas of the brain are unlocked, signaling new ways of brain functioning and experiencing the world. The kundalini, over time, becomes a self-sustaining energy circuit fueled by food and water that grows and gets stronger. And it talks about the Ida and the Pignali and the Shushuma, which is the energy that rises up through the spine. It says the brain is the Bible. The upper room where Jesus meets the 12 disciples is the 12 cranial nerves. The Holy Land, the land flowing with milk and honey, the promise of Israel, the milk, which is the pituitary gland, the honey is the pineal gland, the Christos is the Greek for oil, which then it becomes Christ. And that's what it means when you say you put on Christ and baptism and you're Christed. It is not submerging yourself in water. Sorry, but not sorry. That's not what it means, people. Not what it means. Not what it means. Corinthians 13:5. Do you not know that Jesus Christ is within you? Yes, because we all have that capability to turn on 100% functioning power of our brains, right? I have a bad habit of eating sweets. I have a bad habit of wanting sodas. There's things that I know that I have to do. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I have so much work to do. How much time do I have? I don't know. But I'm just simply sharing this information with you all because it seems to be that we are so caught up in looking at bullshit on TV, which is like, now I made a promise to myself that Monday through Thursdays, I'm just going to limit my TV to watching the local news for a few minutes, turning that shit off and listening to some jazz and reading my books and having a heart-to-heart conversation every evening with my husband. I'm not trying to listen to all this other crap. I really want to focus on what I have going on, which is the knowledge and acquiring knowledge and retaining the information I'm reading and putting it into practice. Now, not just talking about it, but putting it into practice. And that's just something that I'm doing, Nisi's doing, right? Not for everybody. I'm just simply saying, yeah, I'll watch TV a little bit, but I'm doing it for documentaries and research purposes to see what I can see because they put everything out there for us. It's just that we've been so blind and dumbed down that we don't see what's right in front of us. Like, we've had Christ with us the whole freaking time, people. It's not some guy sitting up in the heavenly clouds that's going to come back and save you. You got to save yourselves. And I'm giving you the information. You go research it. You buy the books. You read it for yourself. Just like we say, oh, well, it's put in a book. It ain't true. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Well, if Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, then you should be practicing yoga. You should be practicing breath work. You should not be eating certain types of food. And you really should be understanding what your human body is about, what the pineal gland does for you. You know, it is responsible for producing melatonin, and it also is responsible for producing DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine. Everybody has that in their bodies. Also, everybody has all these different minerals within our bodies. Gold, silver, copper, it's within us, right? Most people don't even know that. Like, have you had a mineral test done in your body? Do you know what minerals you're deficient in? And I'm not just talking about, oh, I'm gonna go to the doctor, I'm gonna do some blood work, and I'm like 9 times out of 10, the blood work that you need to have done, the test you need done, insurance ain't gonna pay for that shit. You got to pay out of pocket for that stuff, and you have to go to a holistic or naturopath practitioner, like I do, like I have done. So I mean, it's not cheap to get this stuff done, but you know, you need to know these things. You do. So when he says the kingdom of heaven is within you, it really is within you. And in order for you to become like Christ, that means you need to turn on the energy and have it flowing through your body where your brain is operating at 100%, people. 100%. So it says how to raise the oil, how to become Christed. And it's like a crown of thorns. If you look at it in pictures, especially if you go get your curling photography done, you can see your chakras, you can see your auras. And I may just share that with you guys one day, my picture, my photograph. But you can see what colors you're vibrating on, right? And once you've become enlightened and you've hit nirvana, when you are crowned, you see these, and it literally does look like a crown when this energy flows through your body. Right. That's why they always represent the thorns or the crown of thorns in his head, because that's what it really is. And, you know, Alex has been Christed. My son Alex has been. He went through this whole change. He went through a whole freaking 40-day fast. I thought I was going to lose him. But he has this clicks in his ears. And he's not the only one. Like, I've met other people who have that same thing. And it sounds almost like popcorn in your head. I mean, it would take for him, and you'd have to look at his videos and he would have to explain it to you, right? Because he has a different way of explaining things than I do. I'm just basing it off of my perception of what I saw transpire with him, right? So, how to raise that oil. You retain your sexual fluids. You consume an alkaline diet, which is what I'm really working on. It's just so difficult, but I can do it. Consuming an alkaline diet, no consumption of acidic foods or fluids. That means sodas, right? No consuming of alcohol, none whatsoever. Kundalini meditation, balance all chakras, keeping your tongue on the top of your mouth, and proper breathing. Yeah. There are people who can practice, and I can't do it on camera, on my tongue. You can stick the tongue up in the back of your throat, which is like, well, back of your, it's up in your like nasal pharynx area, and they can stick it up there. And that, yeah, I'll have to post videos on that. I'll share it with you. But it says Psalms 137.6. My tongue clings to the roof of my mouth if I do not remember you, if I do not consider Jerusalem my highest joy. The river of Jordan is the spinal cord. This is heaven, which is your head. The sacrum is the cave where Jesus is dead for 3 days. Okay. The cerebral system is the extension of the brain. The Dead Sea of the sacrum bone is the solar plexus. So, and he gives you diagrams here. Multiple people talk about this in different books. I mean, it's not a secret. It's not. It's just you putting the information together and reading what it says and understanding what it means, right? So it says Jesus, or Yeshua, the oil, is the Nazareth, the head with Joseph and Mary, the pineal and pituitary gland. King Herod wants to kill him. Jesus, the oil, goes down the river Jordan, the spine, to Bethlehem, next to the Dead Sea, which is sacrum bone. Joseph and Mary, pineal and pituitary gland, are waiting for Christ Yeshua, the oil, to return. The process of the oil coming down from the head symbolizes Jesus coming down from heaven into the physical form. Jesus dying for 3 days and then being resurrected to be crucified at 33 is a metaphorical story about the Christ oil process within the body, which activates 100% of your brain. We're only operating at 10%. And we're in our lower state of consciousness, lower vibration right now. The story of Jesus is metaphorical for the journey of the sacred oil the brain produces. The oil coming down from the brain is God descending from heaven to earth. Jesus dying for 3 days in the cave is symbolic of the sacred fluid staying in the sacrum bone at the base of the spine, the cave, for some time. Then once the oil is resurrected, meaning activated, which is the kundalini energy to raise the oil back up to the spine, it travels past all the 33 vertebrae. It takes 15 minutes per vertebra bone in your body. Okay, 15 minutes for that oil to rise, each bone, each area, each section. Okay, and it says okay, it says Jesus dying for 3 days in the cave is symbolic of the sacred fluid staying the sacrum bone at the right base of the spine, the cave, for some time. Then, once the oil is resurrected, meaning activating the kundalini, you're to rise back the oil, the spine, and travels past all 333 vertebrae on the back of the spine and crosses the vagus nerve. The sacred oil crossing the vagus nerve is Jesus being crucified at 33 years of age, because there are 33 vertebrae on the back of the human spine. And the death of Jesus symbolizes being born again and turning spirit matter into spirit. And turning spirit matter into spirit. Get it? So, Jesus was crucified at Golgotha, which translates to the place of the skull. This is Jesus on the cross, overlapped in the midbrain. Let me show you what it looks like. Pay attention. This is the cross. This is the midbrain. This is in our brain. And this is what this looks like. And that's what the cross represents, people. It's a story of our body. It's a story of the anatomy, of what goes on astrology-wise and what goes on in the alchemical process of our bodies. It was a story that was created. The Christ oil passes the 33 vertebrae of the spine and then passes the vagus nerve, which crosses over. Yeshua, or Jesus, was crucified at 33 because it was the crucifixion of the Christ oil passing the 33 vertebrae and crossing the vagus nerve. 33 vertebrae for the 33 years of Jesus Christ, or Christ oil. Jesus dying at 33 also symbolizes turning matter into spirit when moving the oil past the 33 vertebrae, as we have sacrificed his flesh and nature, personality, and now has been manifested his true God self. That's what it means to turn you back into what you were before you took on these bodies. That's the point. Coming here into these bodies is a lesson for you to learn. We repeat over and over and over. Have children, that you get karma. The more children you have, the more karma you have, which means you have to work that karma out before you exit the body. I've always said in multiple videos, if you die before you die, you will never die. Die meaning putting the physical body to death, because you have to slow down your heart rate, slow down your breathing, get into a meditative state, right? You have to practice these things. Breath work is important. We're not taught how to breathe. If you put the physical body to death, and I'm not talking about taking your own life, that's not what I mean. It means slowing down your heart rate. You have to have so many beats per minute. You have to be in a peaceful state, a quiet state, a resting state. The story about Gilgamesh wanting to master immortality and to have life like the other gods, so to speak, the demigods, because he was a giant and he was a king, and he went to, I believe, was it Sharupak? And he went with his friend, and they went to go see, oh my gosh, they went to go see, I want to say that Noah. I'm tired, you guys. I think I've been up since like 4 something this morning. Anyway, he went to go see him, and because he knew that he was the last one of his kind that would live over 900 something years, right? And he went to go see him and asked him how he could gain eternal life. Well, he told him of a certain plant in a certain area where he went to go get this plant. He said, if you take this plant, you won't die, but you have to stay awake. So he took this plant, laid it on the beach, and you guys can read the story yourself. I have it over here in one of these books. I forget the name of the story. But anyway, long story short, a serpent comes up and takes the plant. And he never could master staying awake. He can never not. I mean, the whole point of immortality is not to go to sleep. And he's missing the point. The point is, if you die before you die, you will never die. Meaning, if you learn how to shut down the thoughts of your mind in meditation and let your body rest and keep your mind aware and awake, because we do have the power to control our bodies. We have the power to regenerate limbs. We have the power to heal ourselves. We have the power to destroy worlds. We have been disconnected from all of that. The movie Lucy, when she took this drug, how she had this computing power where she could taste her mother's breast milk when she was little, and she could hear all these different things going on, and be connected digitally and electronically and frequency wise through all these computers and things like that. Man, she manifested or turned herself into, based on this drug, she turned herself into this computer, this little thing, and ended up on Morgan Freeman's desk. We have the same power. I know how that sounds, but we've been grafted in and we've been nurtured. And so when I'm saying these things on camera, you guys look at me like, you're full of shit. No, I'm not. We really do have that power. They know that. The reptilians know that. They laugh at us because we're like chickens to them. They just pluck us off. That's why so many of us go missing every year. Who do you think's running the government? Do you think it's only humans? No, it's not. What I'm trying to say is they laugh at us because the word that they use, or the word that I've been taught, is centripetal, which means you have to vibrate at a higher frequency. It means you have to turn on 100% of your brain power and computing power, and we don't have that. I'm at 10% like you guys. I'm operating in a lower vibration state. And they look at us like dumb little chickens because that's what we run around and we do, because we're distracted by bullshit on TV, right? I'm just saying. So let's recap. John 3:3. Unless you are born again, you cannot see the kingdom of God. And this is what it means by being born again. No shade on my Christian brothers and sisters, but you guys really don't understand what Christ means. And I'm explaining it to you on this camera. And I guarantee it, I will have some negative comments, but I'm not going to even argue with you people. Go look the shit up for yourself, And I don't mean it to be in a slight way to say that this is all shit. No, it's not. It's good information. And it is really the truth, right? This is the age of knowledge and coming to an understanding and awareness of what this is and who you are and what you represent, right? We are all gods. We are all children of the Most High, literally, physically. We are. And it says, John 3, unless you are born again, you cannot see the kingdom of God. It's not a coincidence that the verse John 3:3 is talking about being reborn again. You are reborn again when the oil raises back up and is passed through 33 vertebrae. Matthew 6:22. The light of the body is the eye. Therefore, is the eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. We are light bodies, ladies and gentlemen. We've always been. That's up. The jig is up. The joke is on you if you don't know that. If you still go into these mosques and temples and churches and still pray to Allah and to God and to whomever you call down, and you're praying out into this vibration, who are you praying to? You are God. God lives within each one of us because I just explained it to you. God is consciousness. God is light. God is energy. We're light beings. The creator of all is with us, period. We are not alone. We've never been alone. That's a fallacy. We've been cut off and to reconnected to change your channel, to tune your frequency, to tune into a higher vibration. It's not to go into these buildings and pray and tithe and get baptized and take communion. No, it's a physical alchemical process that happens within each one of you. Is church, mosque, temple, is it good to go and see people? Yes, of course. It's great to have friendship, fellowship with family and friends, but don't get it twisted. Those who created religion knew this. They knew this information. Why do you think they created all of this crap? To keep us distracted from the truth. Jacob symbolizes the oil in the parable. The rock he fell asleep on is the sacrum bone, where the oil falls and stays for some time. He saw a ladder that reached heaven, which is in the spinal cord leading up to the brain, the heaven. The spinal cord is a stairway to your head, or heaven. Jacob. And I saw God face to face, and I will call it pineal. Boom. Right here. Jacob's ladder. Jesus, 33, represents the 33 vertebra that the oil travels, and it takes 15 minutes per vertebra to fill up. Genesis 32:30. Jacob names the place Peniel, spelled Peniel, Peniel, for he said, I have seen God face to face. Pineal is the pineal gland, which is the seat of consciousness, the throne of God. The kingdom of God is within you is the key phrase. Luke 17:21. Genesis 28:10 and 22. Jacob left Beersheba and went to Haran. The sun had already set where he came to a good place to spend the night. He took a rock there and laid his head on it to sleep. Jacob had a dream. He dreamed there was a ladder that was on the ground and reaching up to the heaven. He saw the angels of God going up and down the ladder, which is the fluid, the light. And then Jacob saw the Lord standing by the ladder. He said, I am the lad standing by the ladder. And this is the light temple, or the body. Boom. There's the light. There's the ladder. Here's the ladder. The 33 vertebra. 15 minutes per vertebra. The Christ soul sits here 3 days. Represents the death of Jesus and the resurrection. Going up here. Boom. Pineal gland. Secretes melatonin, which is a skin lightener. And DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine. Freemason symbolizes the spinal cord with a ladder or a staircase. And here's the Freemasonry stuff, the occult stuff. Right here, the hidden, which means occult. Here you go, right here. And here. That's my receipt from the book. Christ oil again. I'm gonna read this one part, and then we're gonna jump off of here. Christians have heard that Jesus was crucified at 33 between two thieves of Golgotha, skull, which translates to the place of the skull. The story is symbolic, representing the space within your skull between the brain's left and right hemispheres. That's why you have to practice your breathing. You have to practice the breathing to help. The age 33 symbolizes the spinal cord with 33 vertebrae on the back of the human spine, like the ladder Jacob saw in Genesis. The third cross represents the midbrain, and the ventricles create a holy grail shaped cavity inside your skull. The space, like the manger, and a ladder, a tomb, holds the pia mater, or the tender mother, producing cerebral spinal fluid, often linked to the salt or salvation. This fluid, called chrism, is born and baptized through the river Jordan. The spinal cord, travels down the nervous system and later returns to be symbolically crucified at the 33 vertebra. And this is the pineal gland. This is what this means when they're sitting in this. See this person here? This is the pineal it represents, and this is what it represents. This represents that. So when you see these people sitting there, and when you see the Pope wearing that tall, whatever they call it, and he's carrying the staff with the pine cone on the top, there you go. They're putting it right in your face, and you don't even know it. Because you're going into these churches and you're not taught this information, and there's nothing wrong with you going into worship, all right? Because if you're going to fellowship with family and friends, it's one thing, but you need to understand that you don't have to go to church in order to be close to the Creator of all. Creator of all is already within you. You just have to tap into that frequency. You have not been taught how to do that because it's for a purpose. It's for control. If you don't know this information, you can't ascend. You'll keep repeating here, and they'll keep using your energy. Human energy is the number one currency on this planet. Energy, human, number one. So it says, the process crosses the arbor vitae, or the cerebellum, leading to the return of the cave for the sanctification, a symbolic resurrection or being born again from the cave of the third ventricle. And there's so many daggone nods. Now you see with the tree of life, you see the serpent. Serpent does not mean evil. It represents knowledge. See? Now do you guys see it? Now do you see the cross? Do you see the caduceus that the doctors wear with the snakes around it? Do you see the winged serpent? You understand what that represents now? The pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the thalamus, I have read in these books what they represent. And I will continue to finish up that series. And if you guys want to catch it, please go to my Facebook page. I don't think I've uploaded it here on YouTube. Masonic art. The two serpents have symbolized the two Kundalini channels wrapped around the spine. Okay. The sun, which is the male, which is the electric part, and the moon is the female, which is the magnetic part. That's where you get the two serpents intertwining. That's what that means. Okay. Electricity and magnetism. It says the fire at the bottom of the artwork symbolizes Kundalini energy at the spine's base, and it does feel like your spine is on fire when it wakens up. Some people lose it. They lose their crap when they don't know how to control it and how to ease into it, right? Everybody wants to become enlightened, but there is a process and there's things that you have to give up. And I'm just being honest with you. It says the fire at the bottom of the artwork symbolizes Kundalini energy at the spine's base. Activation of the Kundalini energy at the spine base is the force used to flush or push the cerebral fluid up the spine to reach the pineal gland. It's a seed. Remember I said that. The medical field employs this symbol due to the belief that when Kundalini energy elevates chrism oil to the brain, it possesses healing properties. It is suggested that stimulating secretion activates dormant brain cells, regulates blood pressure, and facilitates overall body regeneration. You heal yourself. I told you it's a skin lightener. Melatonin's a skin lightener. See? That's what this means. Look. See the caduceus? I just explained to you what those two snakes mean. It's magnetism and electricity. The sun and the moon. And that's what that means. So, I'm going to read this. Let me read this last page with you guys. I'm on here 52 minutes. I'm going to go 8 more minutes and that's it. There are 3 significant glands in the brain: the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and the thalamus. The thalamus is the integral to sensory perception and consciousness. Plus, it may also produce dopamine. Now, why do we have all that in our bodies, people? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, which is a chemical messenger that transmits signals in the brain, other areas of the nervous system. It plays a crucial role in their several functionings, includes mood regulations. Dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter because it's associated with the pleasure and reward. It plays a role in feeling of motivation and pleasure and reinforcement. Motor control. Dopamine is involved in the control of movement. The generation of dopamine-producing neurons is a key feature in the conditions like Parkinson's disease, which is characterized by tremors and difficulties in movements. Attention and learning. Dopamine is essential for cognitive functions such as attention and learning. It is involved in the brain's reward system, influencing behavior and decision making. Now, why would you think they give us organic and bioengineered food? You have to leave the United States to get real food, people, unless you're growing it yourself. And it's not sprayed with all kinds of toxins that's been banned in other countries. But yet, because we have lobbyists that are doing illegal crap with our government officials that we've elected taking kickbacks, they're going to continue to treat us the way they treat us, you all. Everyone in the United States needs to wake up and understand what the hell is going on. And it's more than just Trump and Biden. They're puppets. We, the people, have the true power. The government. We should never be afraid of the government. The government should be afraid of us. I'm going to leave it at that. It says, regulation of sleep. Dopamine is also involved in the regulation of sleep. Changes in dopamine levels can impact sleep-wake cycles. Stop taking melatonin, you guys. It's trash. It's trash, and it's horrible for your body, and it will mess up your system. I used to take it. I don't take it anymore. I don't take melatonin anymore. It says the pineal gland is responsible for producing melatonin, which is what I told you, a hormone that may rejuvenate red blood cells and counteract the age process while preventing the body's systems from shutting down. The pituitary gland, meanwhile, the pituitary gland releases serotonin, a natural mood stabilizer that induces feelings of happiness. Additionally, serotonin plays a role in wound healing, toxin regulation through bowel control, maintaining wakefulness, alleviating depression, and regulating appetite and digestion. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse went up the clock and went up and down the clock. Santa Claus going in the chimney. This is all representation of the pineal gland. This is your spine. This is the oil that travels. Same thing, colostrum, Santa Claus. Here's the symbolism. Now you guys understand what Christmas really means. It's not about giving presents to some fat white guy coming down the beard. No, baby, it's not. Sorry, this is adult talking. Genesis 3:24, Garden of Eden, serum, and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. The flaming sword is the consciousness in the center of the brain. The tree of life is the central nervous system below the brain, and the cherubim is the brain. Here's the cherubim. Let me pull it out so you can see. Cherubim. Here's the energy. Cerebral spinal fluid. Again. Y'all got it? The three wise men, traditionally known for presenting gifts to Christ at birth, can be metaphorically likened to the three essential brain glands, the pineal, the pituitary, and the thalamus, which contribute serotonin, melatonin, and dopamine to the central nervous system and the body. The health of the body relies on the harmonious functions of these three glands. These are the three wise men. Can you see that? Here's the three wise men. Here's the three wise men. Three wise men. Three wise men. Pituitary, pineal, and the thalamus. Those are the three wise men, you guys. Y'all understand? Santa Claus is the colostrum in the brain. See, they sneaky with it, ain't they? They hit it right in front of our faces. And many of us portrayed this certain thing, and we grew up thinking one way, but now you understand what it really truly means, right? Now you can't say you ain't never been told, because now you know. So I'm going to stop it right here. We're at 57 minutes and 14 seconds. And the next part would be the Kundalini energy. And I could go on and on and on about that. I'm going to stop it right here on this page. Talks about Kundalini energy. This is a great book. It's called The Book of Wisdom, Volume 1. Okay, by Harry B. Joseph, The Revival of Wisdom. Again, you can get that same information in several books that I've showed you, right? I need to put these books back up on my thing. Flat Atlantis breaks it down. Gives you other sources and references within this book. Book of Wisdom. The Hearth Book. This is all about syncretism, you guys. Understanding what we are and who we are and what we represent. Occult Night of Your Man. God, Man, the Word made flesh. The Science of Sacred Secretion. The Sacred Secretion. I can go on. I've got other books in here. Tapping with the healer from within. The Holy Sciences. Yeah, I could go on with books. I mean, this is the age of information. No reason for us to be ignorant of the fact anymore. You guys don't have an excuse anymore. For all of my religious friends who just cannot let go and don't understand the significance of what I've just read the last hour, I will just say this. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It is up to you to come to your own understanding, your own awareness. Believe me, you may think one thing today, but when your eyes close and you exit the body, the truth will be known to you. I say this is heaven on earth, and we should be the heaven on earth. This should be the new earth that they talk about. And in order for us to get to that point, we have to raise our consciousness and raise our vibration. And in doing that, this is the practice that you would go about doing, which is the Kundalini, right? So my whole thing in bringing this awareness to you guys is just to share the information. It's up to you to do the research. I thank you guys for joining me this evening. I thank you all for spending some time with me. I will be back again to break it down a little bit more on some more pages. I stopped at Kundalini. I'll try to jump on here tomorrow and talk about that, the Kundalini energy, and we'll go from there. We've got to get to the light body, which is the Merkaba. We got to get to that whole explanation of what this is. The celestial sphere and how it portrays with the different planes of light. Mer is light, Ba is the Ba, or Ka is spirit, and Ba is body. So Merkaba is light, spirit, and body. So I mean, I can get more involved into it, and I'm going to read these pages to you. But the thing is, I would say you have to do your own knowledge. I'm giving you the books, telling you the sources of where you can get it from, and it's up to you to do the research. And it's up to you to become to broaden your knowledge and understand. If you still have that perception of being a religious minded person, that's fine. That's all on you. I say we all need to live right, eat right, treat each other right, treat this planet the way it should be treated, the animals, because we're stewards, right? And everything that we see outwardly, especially on TV and social media, it's not a good thing. It's the furthest away. It's to keep you away from thyself, knowing thyself, which is knowing thy creator, right? It's to keep you away from these things that I'm telling you about. I'm explaining these things to you about. But again, it's up to you to broaden your own knowledge and to understand what this is and who we are and what we represent. We've never been alone. We've always had the Creator with us. We are creators. We're co-creators in our reality. And this is the reality that we've allowed to happen. It's been created and we're in it. And we have the power to make that change, right? So I hope you guys have a great evening. Be the change you want to see. It's up to you and I to make that positive change.